Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Queerprism256 podcast. I'm your host, CJ, and today we are going to talk about self-love and body positivity. We are in Feb, and you know Feb is the month of love. Instead of pouring out that love to someone else, we are going to pour it into ourselves by reflecting on self-love and body positivity. And in studio today, I have someone who is going to tell us their experiences about these topics. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, happy to be here. My name is Okirol Jerome Kendricks, the first, and I'm excited. Thank you.
So, Jero, tell us about self-love. What is self-love to you? What is body positivity?
Self-love, body positivity. I'll start with body positivity. Body positivity is, to me, it means being positive with your body. And you say, like, your body, your choice, my body, my choice, my power. It is mine and I'm taking it. Being positive about it. Then self-love, it's being selfish with that love and you don't give it to anyone but yourself. You just be selfish and you give that to yourself and not anyone else. Yeah, that's what I think.
How has your journey of self-discovery influenced your relationship with your body and self-love?
My journey of self-discovery. I'm still discovering myself, but so far, so good. I understand very many things, and this self-journey has influenced me positively, mostly these days. I understand why I like my chest flat. I understand why I love gentle pants. I understand why I like my hairstyle a certain way. I understand why I'd like to sound a certain way. I'd like to walk a certain way. So the way it has influenced me is it has influenced me to understand myself more, get to know myself more. And I am still discovering myself, but so far I love where I am. I love how it has influenced me, and I pray it just becomes much better.
Can you share any personal experiences that have helped you come in terms with your trans identity?
Most personal one is one for the chest. I used to feel so out of place, and I didn't want to call myself a man because of my chest, especially in school. It took long for my chest to develop. I used to move shirtless until senior 3. I used to move shirtless in the dormitories, and then senior 3, everything was ruined. Things started showing up. I told my mom to use the mingling stick, but it didn't help. Things worsened. They became bigger, and I used to cry. I hated it so much. But when I joined the community, I learned some things like binding that can help you make your chest flat. And thank God, there's a trans man friend of mine who told me, you know, when you're at the binder, it restricts you. So I went back knocking hard and said, hurry up, the binder is killing me. And this guy told me, you're very lucky. By the time you've come and now there are binders and you're complaining. For us, we used to use bandages and they used to cut us, things like that. So I love my experience with the binder. I love that I can move when I'm flat. And you know, in Kampala here, there's a way, when they get to know that you're a man, there's that respect they give you. But when before I used to pass, I used to sit in a taxi. You give this conductor your money, 2K, he's supposed to remove 1K, but he could disturb you because you're a woman. But now when you give this nigga your 2K, since you're a man, he doesn't want to start war, he'll just give you your balance, like, immediately. So I love my experience with the binder. And that now my chest is flat. I can make my chest flat whenever I want and pass.
How do you think the community can redefine beauty standards?
The LGBTQ plus community is already redefining, because sometimes they say you can never understand what someone is going through until you walk a mile in their shoes. We are minorities. To some people, we are minorities because of how they treat us and how they take us. So when you find someone of plus size, or they're dark skinned, they can't give them or they are too tiny, these people are also being treated. They are discriminated, so they are also minorities. So I like the way whenever you're challenged and you're in the same situation, you'd want to join forces and solve that issue. So as the LGBTQ community, I love that they are doing these campaigns of... recently, there's a campaign I started called My Body, My Choice last year, talking about different diversities of specifically women, and there was also a part for plus size women or plus size people. I myself have struggled with this. I struggle with it a lot. They tell me you should start hormones immediately so you can lose some weight. You're actually good to go. You even have some natural facial hairs, but that size, it's not for a man. It makes you look like a young girl. I struggle with it a lot, but there's a way I am very, very positive. Like, I think it starts with you. Before even we go to the community, it has to start with you. I look at myself in the mirror every morning and say, never mind, it's such a challenge. You know, before like anyone else tells me, I have to tell myself, I say, look at these cheeks, you know. And I love that I think the community is already doing it. How we can do it more is, I think, welcoming everyone. Like, people who believe in religion say beauty lies in the hands of the holder. Yes. So let's carry everyone the way they are. How we want to be treated, this stigma that we are fighting, these harsh laws, we should also consider these people and say, we are leaving no one behind. Everyone has to be treated equally. Everyone is beautiful. If they're not beautiful to you, keep it to yourself. Go bury it at home. Don't air out things that make other people uncomfortable. But it starts with you. That's all I can say. There's nothing that community will do for you unless you have it in you that you are beautiful. It starts with you.
Through your journey of self-discovery, which challenges have you faced as a trans man?
Since this is the month of love, I'll bring in relationships. I faced a lot of challenges when it comes to relationships, especially with my body. You find that you are going to be intimate with your person, but you can't even take off your clothes because you're afraid they'll see you less of a man that you are and misgender you or belittle you, things like that. So I've personally, thankfully, I thank God I haven't experienced this. But there's a friend of mine, we were still in high school. He's also a trans man. So one time they got intimate with a partner and maybe the partner also touched this trans man, you know, pleased the trans man. Then when they separated, you know, when you have small fights as a couple, this girl went on telling everyone how this nigga mourns, the style that he likes most, where how the ass is shaped, how they love anal sex and how they mourn, how they sound, and that thing affected me ever since. And have you heard of these people they call touch me nuts? That's what I was.
Because of that story? Because
of that story, I don't want to be embarrassed. It's not even an embarrassing thing. Everyone should get pleasure, but the way she was talking about it, and whoever could look at this guy could make that sound that the girl made, but this is how this guy mourns. And they could look at him and say, and then this nigga could feel like so low. So that's the number one challenge, and I'm still struggling with it. There are some people I be with, I can't undress. I have to stay in my clothes. I am uncomfortable. I'm already using a lot of force. I am sweating, but I can't undress because you're going to tell everyone this is how my boob is shaped. I have thick thighs, you know.
How does self-love play a role in healthy relationships within the community?
You know, to do something right, you have to have an idea about it. You can't tell me you failed to love yourself and you think you will love another person. It makes no sense. So let's use an example of me, when I love myself so much, I would love you too, because I know what love is. But if you don't love yourself, you don't know what love is, because what are you doing? These are the people you find fighting, and because they hate themselves. There's a thing that there's a campaign moving around that I love so much, when they say hurt people.
Exactly.
People that are broken will make sure you're broken too.
Yes.
When someone is going through something, for example, I hate my body, I hate this weight, and I look at someone with much more weight than mine, I'll make sure they also feel bad and shut down their confidence, so that we are in the same boat.
Yeah.
So when you're not hurt, you love yourself. This is what you will air out. But when you hate yourself, definitely you think you're giving out love, but that's hatred.
Yes. That's so true, because I've also had friends who have been in relationships with people, and then a scenario was a fat girl was dating a small person, not really small, but this person also had a big tummy and was struggling with their body. So in that process, the fat girl was comfortable with her body. She was like, this is how I am, I can't change anything. But then the other person who was struggling with their body would be like, go to the gym, do this. So basically it was like this person was transferring what they are supposed to do for themselves to this other person, because they want to see that reflection in someone else. They want to see the perfect body in someone else, someone they are dating, instead of themselves. It's just like when you're a parent, if you aren't able to achieve certain goals in your childhood, you're going to force it on your child.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to foot from here up to there. Yeah.
So, what are some of the coping mechanisms and self-care practices that promote mental well-being?
There's some research I am part of, and it's very, very interesting, but there's something that I found out, and it makes a lot of sense. Because when people talk of mental well-being, everyone's mind will run to therapy, counseling, those things that are medical mostly. Tablets for, to kill your depression or something like that. But some people don't subscribe to that. Not everyone subscribes to that. And actually, the other things are even much better and free, because some people can't open up to a therapist they have met today, but they can air out someone else. And, like I said, it begins with saying, I am sick. Saying that I need help, I am hurt, I am broken. It starts with accepting. Then once you can choose someone you trust. Go for vacations. If you can't afford that, create your own at home. Solitude is everything, I feel like. Sometimes solitude is everything. I told someone who was crying a lot on their birthday, no one wanted to take them out, no one wanted to go out with them. And then I told them that shouldn't be an issue. Take yourself out on a date.
But there are some people who struggle with that. Because let me tell you, if you're used to people being around you or being happy when you're in the presence of other people, trust me, you will struggle with being happy alone.
That's very, very true.
Yeah, so maybe give us some tips
for solitude.
Yes.
So for me, now me share personal things. How I do my solitude things. Sometimes I used to be like that. I used to do nothing without people. Everywhere I'm going, people, even if I'm going to see my girlfriend, I have to come with another friend. Every time when I board, I have to sit with someone else. In a taxi, I have to sit with someone I know. Everywhere. But until I got broken and tired, drained, I was used, and I realized it, and I said, you know what? I need help. I need to help myself. Wake up, Mr. Kendricks, wake up. So I started doing some things. I got myself a room, my own house. It's like a small room, but I love it so much. I be there and say, but do I know my body, the whole of my body? I have a huge mirror. So I'll take off everything I'm wearing, and then I start saying, oh my God, I'm so handsome. Look at this big belly. I know these women want to be with this. And then you ask yourself, what do you want? What food do I miss? And then you say, maybe I want a Rolex. Then you go and get it and eat it alone. Be on TikTok, watch people, watch the world. Sometimes unplug. Go swimming alone if you can. So solitude is all about, of course solitude also comes from self-love. If you love yourself, you can do things alone. But if you don't love yourself, of course you'll need other people.
If someone is struggling, okay, let me give you a scenario of, you've had friends. You've had friends, you've had family, and life happens. Everyone is out of your life, and now you're back to zero. You're alone. So how do you get back from having 10 people around you to just one person trying to make ends meet and make life happen?
I think also that happened to me. I've been fucked over very many times, very many people. But still, it's all about telling yourself, you know what? These people fucked you over. They are no different. If you bring them back, they're going to do that to you. But who's there for you? Yourself. So now build back that shit that they burnt down, yourself, and no one has a right to eat next time. Even if they come back, they'll be even embarrassed, like, to get back into it. Create boundaries. Like,
how do you create boundaries for purposes of self-love?
First is by owning it. Let's say you have this house and people used to come in anywhere they wanted and get out anywhere you wanted. You stand up and say, I pay rent here. That sofa is mine. This is my place. So it's me to tell you whether to come in or to go back. If I say don't come this time, don't come. I own this. So for me, boundaries, especially if something is mine. If it's my body, my time you're wasting, my house, my shoe, you're not taking that if I don't want. And instincts are very, very, we should listen to our instincts. If you feel like, if someone tells you they want to come over and then you change your mind in the middle when they're already on the border, do it. Tell them, go back, turn around. I don't feel right about this. So that's boundaries. Listening to yourself and owning it and standing up for yourself.
Boundaries. Please set those boundaries. If you're not comfortable with someone, always listen to your inner self. How can the community support each other in fostering self-love and body positivity? Is there transphobia in the community? Let's start from there.
There's a lot. And it's like equal. The one from society is 50. And the one from the community is 50. So they make 100. There's a lot of transphobia in the community. A lot. I told someone I'm not comfortable right now. But with time, I'll get comfortable for you to touch me. I went through this. And then I went on to say, that's how the other person did... told me that the best example I can use for transphobia is if I get pregnant right now because I want a child. You don't know how many people look at me like this every time I go in meetings. They'll be like, he's a trans person. What? That itself is transphobia. The community itself thinks we are crazy. For example, I feel like the government, all these laws, there's a way they got the community. They found a way. They used divide and rule. So they left the whole community and then brought out trans people. Now even lesbians, gay people, they look at trans people as the mad ones. They say that these people who do hormones, who say they were born female but now they feel like they are men, they are crazy. You want to remove the trans people. You lesbians, gay persons are okay, but trans people are crazy. Then even that these other people turned onto us. So transphobia is there, yet we're supposed to move together. But the transphobia is too much. For example, I'll keep talking about organizations. I won't stop saying it. Whenever they hire a transgender man, they feel like they're doing you a favor. It's the truth. I know there are few transgender male organizations there that are led by trans men. If they're there, they'll favor trans women more compared to trans men.
Really?
Yes. Wow. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just my experience. So when you look for a job and go to an LBK organization, they'll feel like they're doing you a favor. So whatever they're giving you, take it. Whatever they're telling you, take it. And then when you go to meetings and there are a lot of LBQ persons, the backlash you get, people don't, trans men don't, okay. Transphobia is there, especially when it comes to empowerment.
How can the community support each other in fostering self-love and body positivity?
According to my experience, there are some things that make me hate myself sometimes. Sometimes people make me hate being trans, like that I'm a trans person. And I feel like it's an abomination. I am an abomination, outcast. You can ask for a job and then you'll be rejected. Like several times, everywhere you go, they first, look at you. And I feel like we should take everyone the way they are. Take someone the way they are. This thing of weighing and balancing and seeing if you can look at someone from top to bottom, it will come back to my brain, and then I'll feel like I'm a disgust. I look, and there's no way I'll love myself when I'm unemployed, when I don't have food. I'll feel lame, like less of a man, and all those things. So let's help each other. Let's give each other a hand. Take everyone the way they are. Sit down, talk to someone and say, this is what you did to me, I hate it. Let that person say sorry instead of carrying hatred, and yet I take you as a brother or sister because you're queer too. You're hurting me, and when you do me like that, I'll hate myself and I won't have self-love. So let's just love each other.
How can we celebrate the diversity of bodies within the community?
We should have something for everyone. Don't make a meeting and say, before. There's some communities I look at for some countries, and then they don't say we are inviting. Why not say it? And it doesn't bring politics. I don't say it and it doesn't bring politics. Let's work together. I mean, this alphabet, they say it all together. LGBTQ+. Why should we always say now this is focused on this? This meeting is focused on this. And then maybe I'm a plus size. There are no seats that favor me. You have tiny seats. I'm not saying like people should get money and do what, but why should you do something that makes the other uncomfortable? Diversity. With diversity, we can get everyone's capability. Everyone's light shines, and then we'll have the sun. Like it's like the sun will be there.
Making everything accessible to everyone and making everyone within the community comfortable, regardless of their bodies, regardless of their identities. Yeah, you do make sense. It's those small things that you forget and you don't consider. How do you celebrate your trans identity?
I buy a good spray for myself. I have to smell good. Brush my teeth. Get those good pants that look good on you. Take nice pictures. Embrace it. Wear that binder and walk out strong with your head high.
What advice do you have for people who are facing challenges, criticisms because of their bodies and identities?
Choose what to let in and what not to listen to. These days, the economy is very, very bad. So, minus you being broke, you want to add on noise from people. Hey, you're ugly, you're big, demons become very loud in your head, and at the end of the day, you'll do nothing. So, choose what to let in and what not to give. Unless someone tells you like, okay, you know what? You smell. And you can change that, you can shower and do what. But if someone tells you your weight is too much, but now you're gazzy, and for you know you're at peace, you like it, you're okay with it, it starts with loving yourself and say, you know what, mind your business, I like myself like this. That person will never say that to you again. But when they tell you and then you just be like, are you sure? now what can I do? Then you tell you chop some weight, go to the gym, whatever, and then you start, it's like you're impressing them and not yourself. But me, when people tell me those things, I'll be like, but I like myself this way. I always wanted to be a big man like Joshua Barak.
Talking about body positivity, sometimes if you're not comfortable, if you're big and you're not comfortable with that, there's so many things you can do to match with what you want. Not because society is forcing you, but deep down, even if someone is bashing you about your size, you know that I want to be a certain size. So you can work out, you can eat healthy. Also, obesity is not good. Speaking from the health perspective, obesity is not good, and it comes with diseases, many health challenges. If you're not comfortable with your body, work on it. If you're comfortable, find ways of loving yourself even more, so that whatever negative comments that are coming in from others don't affect you. There's so many things you can do for self-love. Avoid toxic spaces. Find you can try out solitude, like Jero said. There's so many things. So any last remarks for us, Jero?
Last remarks. Self-love is very important, because when you hate yourself and then you're in a relationship, it makes no sense. If you need help and you feel like you're maybe depressed or you're feeling low, there are very many free counseling services, therapy. Reach out, find those things and help yourself. And I guess trans people, all I can tell my trans people, my trans boys, trans is beautiful. Unique is very, very beautiful. So love yourself. When you get that bind, pass, bounce.
Thank you so much, Jero, for honoring our invite.
Thank you for having me.
And don't forget to like our different social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, or X. It's at Queerprism256. And then for Facebook, it's LBQmen256 podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.